Our calendar brings us to the Middle East this weekend for the Qatar Grand Prix. Making its debut as a Formula One track in 2021, Lusail International is Qatar's Grand Prix circuit. Designed initially with motorbike racing in mind, drivers will need to adopt that two-wheeled mentality of speed and maneuverability if they want to succeed here.
Hey, Decathlon Gamer, welcome back to F1 Manager, episode number 90. Flores and Tanaka straight to the back of the grid in qualifying. More importantly is how far off the pace they are. To the back of the grid, we're talking about a few tenths of a second. But just to get to the points, we're talking about more than half a second. And to get to pole, we're talking about a second and a half a lap that we are off the pace. That is worrying as we head into this race weekend with incredibly low expectations.
The sprint today sees the drivers tackle 19 laps of the Lusail International Circuit.
It's a fast track here in Qatar. Expect to see the pack fight it out, trading places to improve their chances of scoring more championship points.
Well then, folks, it's time to get going. We're ready for the sprint here in Qatar. And it's lights out and away we go.
All right, we are into the sprint, 19 laps. Flores is quick off the line. We've opted for the mediums. The softs look like they're not going to do very well, but everybody else thinks that they still have enough pace in them. The expectation is that they are going to really struggle in the final few laps. This could be an opportunity for us, but the big key is not getting beat early. And Flores, so far so good, as she sits P17, and with a McLaren leaving the track and rejoining in a dangerous manner. Stroll cuts right in front of us there. That was incredibly dangerous, and it forces us backwards as we were right up on Piastri, and we have to take evasive action to avoid contact. Lap 2 DRS is enabled. Flores is just hanging on to that 1 second range right now. And needs to keep pushing on to stay within that 1 second, as a fast Stroll has covered that gap ahead of him and made it that much more difficult on us, but we've already managed to close that back up. There's only a single DRS sector here, so this is the kind of track that you can really see things open up, because over the course of a lap, it's not that hard to pull out a 1 second gap over somebody. Tanaka around Maloney. So we've definitely had a good start in that both have gained positions from the start of the race. We've also had a good start in the fact that we are maintaining that 1 second gap for the time being. I think this is that danger zone for us to fall out of that DRS range and drop back, making the last few laps of the race irrelevant if we're too far behind. So the big thing to keep an eye on is how long can we keep up, and Flores just barely managing to do it. 9 tenths. She lost DRS right there. Right at the detection zone. She had 9 tenths, a fraction of a second before it, and as she went to the detection zone, we could see the marker for it right there. She fell out of range. Drugovich ends up getting around her. Oh, and then she loses Drugovich, and then Maloney in the same lap. And we are down to the last 2 spots. Tanaka now on the back of Flores. Now the big thing is going to be how close can we stay, and how bad does it get for everybody else. Well, watching for the how bad part, the whole field, Maloney, the last of them, is now below that 60% threshold, meaning their advantage should already start to be gone. We had a good start. It helped us out. We stayed up on the other cars for a little while. This is a time where we should be starting to come back at them, and it appears that we are. We're already back down to just 2 seconds to knock out around Flores there, but we are closing up on those cars ahead. 30% already for Albon. In fact, a lot of them already really starting to get in trouble, and we are definitely closing the gap at 51% for Tanaka. She really doesn't have much spare tire to make a push, but she's still looking better than the rest of the field. Florsch is the one that if she gets by, I think we can afford to start pushing and trying to make that forward progress. But it looks like Albin is a bit of a sitting duck and could be an easy overtake for us. Maybe even this coming lap right here. Already we've caught Albin. And at 25%, he's really taking it easy. We're putting the pressure on him, but so far we have been unable to make a move. I think we're going to have to go... Oh, there goes Tanaka through first. So Tanaka ends up overtaking first, and Florsch ends up overtaking first, and Tanaka ends up just following behind. That's one position so far. Magnussen's already down to 15%, Tsunoda at 19, Sainz at 19, and there's 3 laps to go. Like, there is no chance that they are going to make it. We're going to be on 1% and not puncture, right? For now, we're still 3.5 seconds behind the next car, Hadjar. Ooh, and it's lap 18. Let's go aggressive there, Florsch. Alright, well, let's ride on board with Florsch as she makes her push. Final lap, and nobody has punctured. Magnussen now at 11%. But we are coming up on them pretty quickly here. Don't know if it's quick enough for DRS, though. Inside 10%, most of the field is under 20. And yet, 0 punctures. Well into the final lap. 0 punctures. Magnussen now at 7.
With the sprint win.
Gosh, really? Take it. Okay, we do get one more position. Magnussen's gonna literally stay. He's at nothing. He's at absolutely nothing, and he does not puncture. Well, 6% is not nothing, I suppose, but I've never seen us go below maybe 16, 17% without a puncture. Ever. There's a whole lot of the field that's well below that mark, and none of them punctured.
Here on the outskirts of Doha, the excitement continues to build as we approach the Qatar Grand Prix. I suspect that we'll all be closely following Charles Leclerc in this one.
It's a promising position for them starting in P3. They'll be looking to make the most of the slipstream.
But there's no more time left. We've got a race on our hands. We're about to get going here in Qatar. And it's lights out and away we go.
So following our rotten luck that would have guaranteed to see both of our drivers puncture there at the end of the race had we been on the soft strategy like everyone else, saw exactly 0 of the other 18 do that. But Florsch with a good start here was at least temporarily 15th. For now she's at 16th, but still challenging Drugovich there. Certainly a good start. Russell has taken penalties. That's dropped him to start last on the grid. It's Ocon just ahead of us as we are ahead of Drugovich. No, we're still side by side. And really not pushing very hard at the moment. Poor exit. She intentionally brakes and gets out of it, even though she's got like 5,000 car lengths between her and Drugovich, or Ocon that is. And she's got the inside position. And now she's just going to let Albin in. Like, can we defend? Can we actually defend? Would you be, you know, more aggressive? No? No? Don't care to? Confidence is just going downhill real fast as she's literally just like, oh, there's a car next to me. Come on by. Yeah. Nope. You too. Oh, yeah, you as well. Anybody else? Strategy. Tanaka. Soft, hard, medium. Early pit, looking for an undercut, though she'll be on the hards. Florsch. soft, medium. She's better on tires. We're hoping that's going to help her. 2 positions higher up the grid certainly would have helped her out a lot more. And this is Tanaka I'm riding on board with. That was Tanaka letting cars go by. Flourish. No, I switched to Tanaka there at some point. There's those two. Tanaka is still 19th. Or is 19th. Albin got around her as well. As we start lap number 3, Flourish 1.2 seconds behind. Tanaka gets around Albin at least. And can settle in. But Flourish continuing to try to push on. Overheating, though, is a problem, so I think we're going to rely on the fuel for a little bit. Or just settle in, because, you know, we suck. We're off pace. Poor Albin and Russell getting held up by our slowness. Still overheating for Tanaka. She's in traffic. She's in traffic. That's a real problem here. Yeah, she's not able to cool down at all. Flourish is having trouble. No, Tanaka's 18th now. Flourish is down to 20th. What the heck happened to her? Gosh, she was at the front of the group. She's now last in the group, and Russell's now ahead of all 3 of them and long gone. Not too many cars have opted for the mediums. It's like they realize that they're not going to work. And they're not going to make it 19 laps. Now they don't want to run them. Albin has gone by. Tanaka's down to 20th now here on lap 10. And we're already a pit stop down on the leaders. Oh, and then Flourish makes a mistake. Locks up or runs wide. One of 2. It's a lockup. Great, now she's down to 44%.
See what happened. Now this was at turn 1. Oh, and the car locks up. But that's just the risk.
Couple of cars already pit ahead of us, a lap ahead, and we still didn't even get ahead of them, so we are still at the back of the grid. Now that we pit, it's going to be, you know, even farther behind. 2:3:05 for Tanaka. Flourish right behind her. Already over a minute down. We've got a yellow flag. Multiple cars have crashed. Is everybody going to end up getting a free pit stop out of this? Is it going to be a VSC, or will they continue on? Lando Norris coming up alongside the Alpine. And no, it's just a touch. Well, we quickly found ourselves well behind everybody else. Tanaka ends up with a 10-second advantage over Flourish. Flourish is on mediums, Tanaka on hards now. You would expect that Flourish will start to close that gap down, and so far has. She's pulled back 2 seconds on her teammate over about 4 laps, so she's maybe half a second a lap faster at this stage. And we do have just about enough pace that Tanaka has kept the same pace as the front 3, and Flourish is actually getting closer to the front 3. So the undercut is working for us a little bit, but now just Sonoda remains out of that trio, as most of the field has now taken their first stops, as a few more cars do so now. Magnussen coming out down in 18th, but we are well behind. This is just not our day, not our track, apparently. Porsche now just 6 seconds, coming up on being just 5 seconds down on Tanaka, but it's been a pretty slow recovery on that part. Tanaka's tire wear rate and Flourish's have been identical, even though one's on mediums that degrade faster. But such is the situation we find ourselves in repeatedly with Tanaka, who just can't handle tire wear, has not figured it out. We are much closer to Albin now, just 4 seconds behind, but at 66% used hards. I doubt we're going to be making any sort of progress to gain on Albin. And the VSC is coming out, and we are close to pit road. Options. I think Flourish could probably go to the hards and make it to the end of the race. Tanaka probably doesn't have another set of hards. She doesn't. If we go to the mediums right now, we'll have better pace. We could then go to the softs at the end of the race, but it means an extra pit stop. I think ultimately it would be faster than what we're going to try to do here. So Florsch is within 2 seconds now, though. I don't know. No, we're not going to make mediums work. We have to go to the hards. Florsch is going to lose a second or so here.
Not entirely sure what happened, but
It's
it
Sargent
seems
who
like
crashed
it was
on turn
Logan
2.
Sargent. So this is what happened.
Might take
Right,
more than
we're
a
taking
lap.
the second corner.
Just totally lost it on their own.
Oh, that's a pretty...
All the way to the wall. Too late to change our mind now about trying to wait a lap. We're going to watch from Florsch's perspective behind Tanaka, but we'll watch the time for Tanaka first. Please be fast. 2.6. No, it's not fast. And Florsch loses at least a second there and has another mistake. Oh my goodness. 2 stops, 2 mistakes, and she gets held up by Tanaka. Holy crap. But terrible luck here. Absolutely terrible luck. Second mistake of the day. And yes, the hards will make it. And no, the mediums will not. Definitely not for Tanaka. Magnussen pit, Russell pit, Stroll pit. That's it. Just 3 other cars as we go green once again. We are not that far from getting lapped. We're going to have to push pretty hard for a little while here. Our fuel's now good. But we're going to need some good race pace for a while here if we're going to avoid blue flags and getting lapped, especially Florsch, who's good to go till the end. Looking behind her for a moment as we go down the main straight. Are the other cars in sight? Yeah, just about back there. Just about. Norris on 63% used mediums. Leclerc's on 46%. Porsche, a lot of them are going to be pitting fairly soon or definitely be off the pace. Florsch coming around the final corner, and the leaders are much closer. Much closer than before, and that's worrying. We're on brand new hards. Our pace shouldn't be this bad. 2 of the front runners are out of the way now, though. And Florsch gets blue flagged. Lap 39, she's been blue flagged. That's race ruined. It was already ruined, but if she had any chance of doing something, that took it away. Front 2 pit, but of course Florsch lost that extra ground because of the blue flags. That I don't think she can really make up for it now. Meanwhile, I am pushing with Tanaka. We are burning through the tires. She's going to pit soon and put on the softs. She's got a healthy advantage over Florsch at this point, but she's 3 seconds behind Albon, which is where we'd want her to be, except after the pit stop, not before. Tanaka, 3rd time down pit road. The big question now is, does she have any chance of beating Florsch? 2.455. 3 stops, 1 slightly better than average, 1 average, and 1 a couple tenths off. But of course, the one that was a couple tenths off set up the mistake for Florsch, delayed her, and then the mistake came, and the team just couldn't handle it. 98%. We can definitely push a fair bit. Can't afford to overheat too much, but Tanaka is 19th and a lap down, and Florsch is 18th. As we're getting up to temperature, though, we're going to see if we can't maybe squeeze out a fastest lap for Tanaka. Let's ride on board as we start her push. And we will go deploy as she heads down the front straight. Might as well. Got nothing better to do. We're 16 seconds behind anybody else. What will Tanaka's race pace be here? She's closing up on Florsch quite quickly, at least. In fact, we are closing up on the leaders, on Leclerc. It's a good lap. It's definitely a good lap. Tsunoda has the fastest lap of the race. That wasn't it. It was a good lap, but it wasn't the fastest. Gonna go neutral. Best is a 1:23.321. 1:23.321. The leaders right now are running 1:28s, so she is quick. So 1:26 flat was the fastest for Florsch. That's how far off the pace we are. Holy crap. Yeah, Florsch just got blue flagged. Tanaka is now all over the back of Flourish. Tanaka has caught up to Flourish, after all. But it's 22 seconds to Albin. Lap 53 of 57. After getting around, Flourish can't pass Tanaka, but she was able to keep up with Tanaka. So as we go into these final couple laps, do I want to try to attack? We'll just bring it home. Both cars a lap down. A ways off the back. The lack of pace we had here showing its ugly head. It was pretty clear we were lacking pace. But that stark difference between Flourish's best lap being 3 seconds off of what Tanaka did there.
Over the line and
that was some solid
right
time
to the top of
she gained,
podium.
but that's just pathetic. And Flourish kept up for about 2 laps, but once Tanaka got out of DRS, look how fast she pulled away. Ended up 6 seconds ahead of her. Gained on Albin rapidly. Ended up 18 seconds down on Albin. That was it. She pulled back a lot of time there. Those softs were good, and it did just about work out for us. Put us in the same position we were. By that part is what I mean. It didn't necessarily gain us anything, as we still ended up a lap down. I can't believe pit crew made 2 mistakes today on both of Flourish's stops. It's bad luck there. Sonoda takes a win. Norris in the Mercedes was second, Leclerc was third pretty much all day long, and Red Bull a 7-8 finish. But no points, only cars a lap down. Rough day on that part. In the constructors, Alfa Romeo was the only back marker to pick up any points, and even then it was only one DNF. Another bad day at the office. We have 5 races left. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. 6 points behind. Bye for now.